When I need answers about anything to do with personal growth, I go straight to my mom and my aunt. Here they are, Priscilla Babin and Tina Gilliat with the sister sauce.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sister Sauce. I'm Priscilla, and I'm here with my beautiful sister, Tina. Say hello, Tina.
Hello, Tina. I knew I was going to do that.
Yes,
How
you
are you,
paused for a
Priscilla?
second. Were you deciding?
Uh,
I'm feeling fine. It sounded like you were pausing, like you were trying to decide if you wanted to do it or not.
no, I think we got a little bit of a delay with the recording going on here. It was weird
Oh,
because it looked like you were frozen for a second, but no,
oh,
I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to the coming week to go see Clover in the SpongeBob SquarePants play. Yay. Can't wait.
yay.
Our
Yeah,
Clover the
we have that
Star.
coming up. All kind of Christmas activities,
Yeah. Yeah.
several
By the time
parties.
this podcast is released Sunday morning, I will have been to two more Christmas parties, and I'm excited.
And I will have
I love
been
Christmas parties.
one school event.
Good for you.
This is gonna be a crazy week coming up with rehearsals for SpongeBob and the dress rehearsals and all the performances. I think there's 10, 10 or 11 performances of SpongeBob.
Wow. Clover's
There's
going to be exhausted.
I could be wrong about that. Wait, that's too many. One, three, one, two, three, four, five, six, 10. I was right.
10. Wow. That's a
10.
lot.
Yeah, normally there's 11, but they actually only have two the first day instead of three because of a lack of school participation, believe it or not. So,
Wow.
um, yeah, normally they do 3 days of school day performances for schools to get bussed in, and they're only doing two. So, they do they're not they do two a day for schools for the 3 days, but they're only doing one the first day this year. So there's
Yeah.
going to be five school performances plus evening performances Wednesday through Saturday, and then a matinee on Sunday.
Wow. That's
So
awesome. No,
a
it's
lot
such a
of
great
lot of
experience, but I
work.
know it's exhausting for Clover.
hmm it's both ways. It's hectic and it's exhausting, but it's also exciting and it's fun.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah.
you know,
I was
it's a little
thinking
bit of
about it.
everything.
I was thinking about it last night because I remember a couple of years ago, Clover was so stressed out that we were all concerned, but they
Mhm.
seem to be handling it better this year. But
Yeah.
I thought, I wonder if they do that deliberately to prepare these kids in case they become professional actors and actresses
Professionals.
and professional
I don't know,
musicians.
maybe so.
Um, get used to this life, kid. It's going to be rough. Hmm. Which brings
I think
me,
it might be true.
it actually brings me to my hot sauce. It's a good transition there.
There
So
we
I'll
go.
maybe wait for you to ask me what my hot sauce is. I'll just share it. I was thinking yesterday, I was thinking about somebody in my life, and I was like, um, if he only knew how much stress I was under, not my husband, y'all. I was thinking if he only knew how much stress I was under, he would understand that his stress is nothing compared to mine. And then I thought, stress is relative though. If you're the kind of person who doesn't normally have stress, you're not really prepared for it. So then it's more stressful for you. So, what is stressful
Mhm.
to me, as opposed to what is stressful to my neighbor, is not necessarily the same thing. And people look at you and I
Mm.
all the time with some of the things that we've been through in our life and are still going through. And they say, oh, wow, you guys are so strong. But it's because we built up this strength over the years. We've had to deal with
Mm.
other things, but there are people who are blessed enough to get through life without a lot of stress. Unfortunately, they're not exercised enough in how to handle stress and they haven't built up those muscles. So when they're going through minor things and we're going, oh my God, they're so, but it's not fair to say that because they actually are experiencing a high level of stress because they're not used to it. And so it's sort of like somebody who's a weightlifter and having to move heavy boxes, thinking I'm wrong for complaining that I had to move a 45-pound box. And that guy's equipped. I'm not. So yeah, just some interesting thinking there to help us be more forgiving of people who are dealing with minor stress compared to our own, to remember that they just may not be as equipped as we are. So
Especially kids. Kids, and things affect them more strongly. They haven't learned to regulate their emotions and stuff like that. So be gentle on your kids if they're getting stressed out from all the holiday stuff or stressed out from your stress. We got a good little topic today, fun for the Christmas season. We're going to talk about the origins of some popular Christmas songs and some other fun facts about Christmas music that we found. You want me to start us off, Tina?
I do. I love Christmas music, though. I will just say that from the start. And even though I'm saying that you should start us off, I want to ask you, and I'm sorry because I should have warned you I was going to do this. You're going, what are you going to ask me? I see your face. Do you have a favorite Christmas song? A dead
No,
silence.
I
And a
don't.
deer in the
I
headlights.
don't. I don't have a favorite because there's so many that I love, and I could say, well, I really like this one, but then I'm gonna come back with another one and another one, and another one, and I think I'll just be listing a lot of songs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's so funny because, we've been playing Christmas music for mom when we're helping her with stuff. And so I know you do that all the time. You play music for her. And I was playing Christmas songs for her yesterday when I was helping her. And I said, Mom, and her memory isn't what it used to be. So I wasn't sure I would get an answer. And I said, Mom, I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but what is your favorite Christmas song? And it was so funny because sometimes she can't even grasp the question. But she said,
Mm.
oh, there are so many. I don't know if I can narrow it down to one. And I was like, I feel you, Mom. I feel you. Right. So a few minutes later, I was getting ready to bring her out in the den, and she looked at me and she said, really loud, it was too cute. She said, I'll be home for Christmas. And I think it was I'll Be Home for Christmas. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. And I said, wait, that's your favorite? And she said, yeah. And so I quickly found it on YouTube and played it for her. And she sang along with it. So it was really sweet. It's actually one of my favorites too. I love Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And but I like the slower version, not like the Michael Bublé. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. I like the
Um,
slow version. And but again, it's not. I can't say it's my favorite because there's so many awesome Christmas songs.
yeah.
AJ always says his favorite is "O Come, O Come, Emmanuel," and I'm like, that's not a Christmas song. That's Advent. But we have a lot to talk
Yeah,
about
that's true
today.
too.
Take it away, my
Yeah.
sensei singing sister Priscilla. That Yes. What you got? Tell me some good stuff about
Well,
Christmas
first we
music.
have a we have some articles. I had found a whole bunch of articles with just to for transparency for our audience. We were talking about what are we going to talk about on our podcast this weekend, the other day. And I said, like, well, we should talk about something Christmassy. And we were like, oh, let's talk about Christmas songs. And so I just did some Googling real quick at the breakfast table while we were snacking on our eggs and whatnot,
You
and
came up
found,
with a
and
good
we
collection.
pulled up, yeah, I just like was randomly selecting links and saving them so that we would have them for today. And so we've looked over them, and some of them were a little bit repetitive, like between each other, like the similar stuff. The one was talking about the history of Christmas carols. And so I want to tell y'all what I learned from that was interesting how um of course Christmas was not always celebrated at this time of year. And in fact, wasn't even really celebrated, I guess, before they started celebrating Christmas in December. They just a mystery as to what time of year Jesus was born or whatever. And so but the pagans would be celebrating at this time of the year for the winter solstice, and they had these musical pieces they used that were very catchy. And so the reason that church music for Christmas and Christmas carols and Christmas hymns started to develop, I guess, because they weren't really here at the beginning, was way back in the early times of the church, in the Roman church, when it first began, back in like 129. So there was a bishop who was like, we have to have something to counter the pagan melodies that everybody seems to really like singing, because we want to celebrate Jesus' birth at this time instead. We're going to use this time of year to celebrate, because this is not actually accurate historically to Jesus' birth this time of year. They, I think they said, I don't know who they are. I think it is, I think it's agreed by most historians that it was probably more like in the summertime, which sounds absolutely miserable, riding 9 months pregnant and having contractions on a donkey in the heat in the desert in the summertime. I don't know. Maybe it got dark and it was a little cooler. Who knows? Maybe I'm in menopause. I don't know. But uh so the church wanted to develop hymns, but that early church, all of the services were in Latin. And people didn't know what was being sung. They couldn't really sing along. A lot of times they just did whatever melody they felt like.
Yeah.
And so there was no consistency. And it took hundreds of years to really get real Christmas carols going. And some of the first Christmas carols didn't come about until, the 1700s.
Hmm.
And so you get the first real Christmas carol that caught on was Hark the Herald Angels Sing, but it wasn't called that. It was called something else. It was like Hark the Sound of the Milkings or something like that. And the original author, whose name escapes me, he wanted it sung to the tune of an Easter hymn. Um,
I
and
think you
I
said,
said
I
it
think it
before
was
when we were
Christ the
discussing it.
Lord is risen today or something like that.
Yes, that's what it was. It was Christ the Lord is risen today. And he wanted to sing it to that tune. Well, people didn't really like it to that tune, I guess, and it wasn't really catching on. And the lyrics changed to Hark the Herald Angels Sing by about 15 years after he wrote it originally. And then by the 1800s, Mendelssohn had come up with the tune we know now. And the words were put to that. And that was one of the very first Christmas songs that we still continue to sing in churches now. So that's a really cool, fun fact, I think. I like that song. I really like it. And I like Mendelssohn's tune. I don't think I would like it to the other one. Um, but after that, they started really pop off with the the Christmas music in church. People were like, "Hey, this is pretty cool." And then, but then, of course, like you say, it was Advent music. It wasn't Christmas music. I mean, like if you person who knows about church and liturgy and all of that stuff and the church seasons, Advent is the time leading up to Christmas. And even though a lot of people think of those as Christmas hymns, they're technically Advent hymns, but I like them and I sing them at Christmas time. So we'll go with those.
Mhm.
And Tina, we also had a video we found.
Yes.
You want to tell about the video? That was
Yeah.
really cool.
So the video we watched was interesting too. And it sort of it reflected on the fact that that a lot of our favorite Christmas songs that we like now, the good old classics, I guess we could call them,
Mhm.
are from the 1940s time frame. And
Mhm.
apparently, up until that point, most of the songs people sang at Christmas time were the carols that you just talked about.
Mhm.
And it about the 40s was when things like White Christmas and other songs came out. And the young lady that was doing the video, one of the things she said was that it was thought to be sort of like a waste of what's um, the ROI, return on investment. So people
Mhm.
didn't think music producers didn't think there was enough of a return on their investment to do Christmas songs because it could only be played and get
Mhm.
royalties during Christmas time, which is a very short season, which is why I continuously argue that we should sing Christmas songs all year long, but nobody will listen to me. But because I think but White Christmas was kind of the catalyst, I think, that started all of that. And she talks about that in the video, which we will put all of these links in the show notes. But it was really interesting because then, these movies started coming out and all these Christmas songs were in the movies. And you know
Mhm.
that White Christmas was originally in the movie, um, The Inn. What was it?
Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn. Thank you.
Holiday
I
Inn.
can't think of the first word.
It's my favorite.
Holiday
It's
Inn.
one of my favorites.
Yeah. And I know I used to get always confused because Eric would say something about he watched Holiday Inn and he'd be singing White Christmas. And I was like, no, the name of the movie is White Christmas. And I had never heard of Holiday Inn until like a few years ago. I don't know how I missed that. But anyway, they sang it, of course, again in the movie White Christmas. And it was and White Christmas has some great other songs in it, one of which is the
Mhm.
Sisters song that you and I did for
Mhm.
the variety show that one year for Christy. But yeah, so it was kind of interesting to listen to this video from this young lady where she was talking about how the secular music started hitting the scene. And to this day, though, I was thinking about it. The She talked a little bit about ones like Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. And of course, you got the Vince Vance version of that, which uh, there was a whole lawsuit about, which was ridiculous because the songs are so different.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, so I thought it was kind of interesting listening to that because I think about it, and it's true that most of my favorites are the old classics. I really do like the Mariah Carey version of All I Want for
Mhm.
Christmas Is You. And in fact, I may be doing a parody video with that, maybe. So for my house, got to
Mhm.
sell my house. And what better time to buy a house than at Christmas? Although one of my friends who's a realtor, I was telling her about it, and she was like, "You do know it takes over 30 days to go to close." And I'm like, "Shh, don't tell anybody that." But anyway, yeah, it was interesting though, because there aren't a whole lot of songs that come out and or new Christmas songs that people like. There's one by Harry Connick Jr. It must have been Old Santa Claus, but I'm not clear if it was like a revival of a 40s song because he does a lot of that old music, you know.
He
But
does.
there are a lot of good older Christmas songs mostly. You don't hear often the new.
Yeah. And they get redone. They get re redone, restyled,
Exactly.
you
Think
know.
about it. If Taylor Swift does a Christmas album, she does a lot of the classics on her Christmas album. Michael Bublé
Right.
sings all the classics. You know, they all do the different classics.
Uh-huh.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I
that's the
really am.
thing. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I like hearing different versions of stuff when it comes on the radio, but then I'm not going out and buying, a Christmas album because I'm from most people nowadays because I'm thinking, oh, it's just going to be the same old songs. It's just going to be them singing it.
Sure.
And so I get a little bored with that idea. But I have, because of my being a Zumba instructor in my recent past, I really loved doing a big Christmas class. And I would do an extended Christmas class that was an hour and a half for 2 hours long because I had so many songs from
Wow.
Christmas that I
I
love.
don't remember if I ever went to one of those of yours, but I probably would have dropped like a fly. I don't think I could have kept going for an hour and a half, but
I
you
tried
were
to
really good
pace
at
it so that
that.
there was some, so that the
Yeah.
tempo was up and down, so nobody would be like, falling out on me. But because I did that, I was always keeping my eyes and ears out for newer versions of stuff or newer songs that were fun. So I have a lot of more recent Christmas songs in my uh I want to say stored in my computer, but I'm 100% sure they're there because of recent for switching to a different computer a couple of years ago and trying to transfer things. It didn't go as well as I would have liked. So I'm not sure where all of my Christmas music is, but I've got some real wild one there. I mean, there's one you hear on the radio a lot, and I really love it, and it's Underneath the Tree by Kelly Clarkson. That's one of my favorite recent
I'm
popular
gonna have to look that
ones.
one up
And
because I'm not
it's
familiar with it.
probably 10 years old, but that's a really good song. I love that one. Heard that one this morning because I put the Christmas pop channel on for the kids in the morning to try and rev them up for school. I always put something different on. Some days it's disco or whatever, but it's Christmas season, so they're getting Christmas pop right now. And it's got
Yeah.
to be lively because they'll lay in the bed sleeping. If it's I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, they're going back to sleep. But you know, like that one. And even Big Rita, who is a bounce artist here in New Orleans area, has some Christmas songs. Um I'm trying to Make It Jingle is my favorite Big Frida Christmas song. And it's mostly clean. There's one word at the very end. So if you cut it off
Oh.
and it's clean. And there's parody songs for Christmas like Angela Johnson, the comedian, she does her character Bonquiqui, and Bonquiqui had a Christmas album.
I didn't know that either,
And
I don't think.
Jingle Bell Sleigh is one of the songs, but it's Slay, Slay. And I'll have to send you that because I have that. And
They have the
uh
12 Yachts of Christmas.
right,
That's a
that's been around a long time,
local New
like 30
Orleans. Yeah.
something years probably.
Wow.
We were
Yeah, I
talking
guess
about
it
that
has
one
though,
last
come to
night.
think of it. Yeah.
A lot of that stuff is not, a lot of the places referenced are very different now too in that
Yeah.
song. If you start
Yeah.
going through the
Well,
numbers.
Schwagman's, yeah. And
Mhm.
but I always use the expression "boy, you drive me nuts" when I'm talking to my husband.
Yeah. Yep. We were singing that in the car last night. And there was one I just thought of. Oh, we were watching Abbott Elementary, which is one of our favorite TV shows last night. And one of the most recent episodes, they did a winter show, and it was going to be a Christmas show, and they realized not everybody at the school participated in Christmas celebrations, so they decided to make it a winter show and make it so all the kids could participate. But they were going to do a step dance to Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC, which is another one of my favorites. So my Christmas playlist is all over the place.
Uh,
So that's kind of fun.
yeah,
We
yeah.
want to know y'all's favorite Christmas songs too.
Yeah,
Y'all
we
have
ought to
to
do a
to
survey on
write in or
Facebook
call,
about that.
call in.
I don't know if we
Yeah,
could
we
do a
should.
survey because we'd have to list them all, but maybe we could just say, tell us your favorite. Yeah. So,
Yeah, we could do one post on our Instagram too, where people
yeah,
could just
cool.
type it
That
in.
sounds good. That sounds good. Um, we have one article on mentalfloss.com that gives the origins of 10 of the most popular. I don't know if we have time to do all 10, Chris, but maybe we can share a few of
Nah, no
them.
problem. Well, the first one that they list is Silent Night. And they talk about how it's the story goes that Father Joseph Mohr, Mohr, of Oberndorf, Austria, was determined to have some Christmas music for his Christmas Eve service, even though the organ at his school was broken. So he wrote a poem, which was Silent Night, and he asked his friend Franz Gruber, not Hans Gruber, who stormed Nakatomi Tower, to compose a score for it that would be played on the guitar, actually, which is kind of cool. So if when you sing Silent Night, it was written for guitar originally, not for the church organ, that's a fun fact.
That is. That is. Especially since I remember when I was choir director at St. John, I wrote the children's play and we did Silent Night with guitar. AJ played guitar and it was so pretty. It really was. I think that we did it, we started on guitar and then the organ came in, or something, or vice versa. But it was really beautiful. It's such a pretty song.
Mm, it
Well, this
really is.
another one that they have on the list is Deck the Halls. And that's one of my favorites at
Mm.
Christmas time. It says this jaunty tune dates back to the 16th century in Wales, where its melody and much of the lyrics were pinched from the New Year's Eve song Nascalan. Lines like, "Oh, how soft my fair one's bosom, fa la 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 la," are transformed into Yuletide wishes like deck the halls with boughs of holly. So there was a musical makeover of sorts done by a Scottish folk music scribe named Thomas Oliphant. And he built his reputation on old melodies with new words, kind of like my parodies, right? And in 1862, Deck the Hall was published in Welsh Melodies Volume 2.
Mm.
And then he went on to become a renowned translator of songs and a well known lyricist. How about that? But it says his version of Deck the Halls is actually not even the one that is most commonly sung. Now, Deck the Halls, plural, lines like fill the mead cup, drain the barrel have been swapped for don we now our gay apparel. I'd love to hear the full version of that, though. That probably was hysterical.
Ah, well, the song,
Bosoms and beer.
yeah.
What more could you ask for?
Deck the house with soft bosoms. Wow, 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 wow. Get me a beer. Da.
That's
Bow
hysterical.
me a beer. Doesn't new. That sounds like a country Christmas song. Well, one of my favorites growing up was All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth.
Oh, I
And
used to
somehow,
love that one.
yeah, somehow it does not surprise me that a grade school teacher were the one and his wife were the ones to help write that. They sat down with their second readers in Smithtown, New York, 1944, when all the popular songs were coming. And he, I guess he started them off with saying, "What do you want for Christmas?" or "All do you want, what is all you want for Christmas?" There's a lot of difference in what is supposed, how it led to it being my two front teeth, but people think it's more likely, not that the kids were saying they wanted their two front teeth, but that's an age when they're losing their front teeth. So they probably had a lot of kids with no front teeth lisping away at this song. And that's why the lyrics turned to two front teeth. And he actually he actually ended up giving up his teaching job to become a music consultant and editor. And he couldn't believe the success of his silly little song about teeth. So
That's pretty cool.
the song was recorded in 48. So it took 4 years, but
When
it
I
became
was
a
a
big
little
hit.
girl in the 1960s, Mom used to buy a lot of Reader's Digest products. So, the magazine now, Reader's Digest. Well, back then, and I don't know if they do this anymore, but they used to offer a lot of musical items. And so they had the Reader's Digest Christmas collection, and they had the Reader's Digest Brothers Four collection. And Mom would buy these
Right.
LPs, right? The 33s, albums, and have these collections. And I had my own little phonograph in my bedroom that I had gotten for Christmas or something. And I used to play albums and dance around my bedroom. It's so funny because AJ and I joke about the kids today staying in their rooms listening to music, but I was a child of the 60s and I did that. And being the only girl, I had my own bedroom because you didn't come along until much later. You weren't born until I was 12. But I think even then I used to play music for you and sing to you. But Mom had that Reader's Digest Christmas album, and it had All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth on it. And it was the cutest little kid singing it. And I used to sing along with that all the time. But so I
I think
mentioned,
that album,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think that album was one of my favorites too. And there was a version of Angels from the Realms of Glory on there that I really loved. I don't remember who it was
Oh,
singing.
I don't remember that. I sing to Mom all the time the Brothers Four tunes that were on those albums. And I was always an actress at heart. So um she also had an album of children's songs from Reader's Digest, a collection of children's songs. And the children's song albums had Me and My Teddy Bear on it. And I would dance around my room with my teddy bear singing that. And I thought, I'm ready for the stage. And when the Brothers Four albums came out, one of my favorite songs on there was the song about the hobo walking down the track of the train track and trying to get home. I'm walking down the track. And I sing all those songs to Mom, but the Christmas albums, the ones I remember most from that were the All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth. And the other one that I remember most from that is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And I really think it was Judy Garland on the Reader's Digest album, but I'm not positive. But Judy Garland actually did sing the song. I'm reading from the Mental Floss articles, and we're going to share all of these in our show notes, but this is a really cool article. It talks about how the Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas was written by Hugh Martin for a scene in a 1944 movie, back to that time frame of the video we watched, right? It was a scene in the movie Meet Me in St. Louis. Now, I did not remember that song was in that movie. And Judy Garland sang it, and they refer to it as a bittersweet song. She was singing it to her sister, trying to cheer her up as they both lamented their family's move from their hometown. But Garland and the director, Vincent Minnelli, weren't happy with the early drafts of the song that were more maudlin. And so some of the lines that he had originally included, uh, they would later describe as hysterically lugubrious. That's a tongue
Lugubrious.
twister, hysterically lugubrious. And they said, for instance, have yourself a merry little Christmas. It may be your last. Faithful friends who were dear to us will be near to us no more.
God, that's depressing.
Right? It is hysterically lugubrious. So they refused to revise, but Martin, the original guy, he refused to revise the lyrics. But a talking to from the actor Tom Drake set him straight. He said, "You stupid," and then he used some foul language, which we won't use because we'll have to flag our video. Martin recalled, "You're going to foul up your life if you don't write another verse of that song." And so ultimately he gave in and he rewrote it. But, and then, uh, 1957, at the request of Frank Sinatra, of course, Old Blue Eyes had some pull. He changed it again and changed the "we'll have to muddle through somehow" to the more jolly "hang a shining star on the highest bough." And the song has since become a standard in both forms. And I heard a story, and I don't know if it's true, but I heard a story that when the song was originally written, it was "if the Lord allows." And when one of the singers went to record it, I don't know if it was Judy Garland or someone, the they were recording it for publication. There was this big argument, and the production company said, "We need to take that out. We need to take 'if the Lord allows' out and replace it with 'if the fates allow.'" And ultimately, "if the fates allow" won out in the argument. But a lot of the
Mhm.
Christian artists have replaced it back with "if the Lord allows," which is my preferred version.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, interesting stuff, huh?
Yeah. It's wild. Some of the reasons and some of the original lyrics and stuff have been changed,
I
and
know.
a
I,
lot
I
of these the something happened to the authors before they wrote the song that led to them, being so moved or so uh melancholy about Christmas in some cases that they wrote some of these things, and I guess that guy was melancholy because he he had to get it together.
so
That
fun
was terrible.
fact, totally related but not related, is that a lot of the old Christmas songs are public domain, but people mistakenly think that public domain means you can use them for anything. And I
Ugh.
can't quote to you the specifics about what is allowed and what is not allowed. But if you're one of those people that thinks public domain means free use, it's not. And I learned that in Toastmasters because we've done speeches and things like that. And when you're in a contest in Toastmasters, if you do a speech and you use something that is not your own material, you have to say where you got it from. And we had a conflict come up one time, what do they call it? A protest about somebody that used song lyrics. And the speaker's argument was the song lyrics were public domain. And one of the judges said, "But public domain doesn't mean for use, and you still have to say the origin of it." And so there are some restrictions with that. So if ever you're having to use lyrics or something like that, be sure to check on that. I love Christmas music, and these are some great articles. And I would
Yeah.
encourage everyone to go read the that one article from um, did I lose it? Mental Floss, which is an interesting website, mentalfloss.com. But yeah, it's got it mentions 6 other songs and gives their equally interesting stories, but we just shared 4 of them. Fun stuff.
Yep.
Do you have anything? Well, I know you do. What do you want us to marinate in this week coming,
Well, I'll
besides
have to
the
give you
bills from Christmas shopping?
oh goodness, you don't marinate in those. Yikes.
No,
I as is my common uh situation,
you're
I
going to
guess.
share an
Um,
Instagram post.
Shockingly. Yes. It was
It's always
actually
good.
yeah, it was actually on Leslie Jones, the actor who is on Saturday Night Live, or was. I don't know if she's still on. It was on her Instagram. She shared it, but it was not her post. So I'm having to pull it back up because I lost it. It closed up on me. But I've got the original author. The original author of the post I saw was her username is Kate Forrester. Kate Forster, not Forrester, Forster, Kateforster Writes, Writes. That's all
Oh,
one word.
interesting.
That's her Instagram handle, but her name is Kate Forster. And she's I think she's British, if I'm going by her accent. Of course, there's many dialects, so I'm not sure exactly where she lives, but somewhere in the UK, I think. But she posted about a piece she wrote, which started out as a text message or an email to her friend. And she was saying she had a friend who had cancer, and it was a horrible, messy cancer battle, but she came through and she was okay. And then she felt kind of lost, and it was one of her best friends, and she said to her, I don't know why I was spared from this cancer, because I don't feel like I have a purpose. I don't know what my purpose is anymore. And it was I can't tell you the whole thing because it was lengthy, but
Did she
if you
say,
look
I
up,
mean, had she felt like that before the cancer, or she didn't
I
say?
don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe
She
because she
didn't.
wasn't working anymore or something.
Oh,
But Kate's response to her, she ended up publishing, I think, if I'm understanding what she said correctly. But she has a post about it on her Instagram. And she was saying how she responded to her friend and told her, your purpose is to be alive. Your purpose is to be alive and experience life. So if you want to write, write. If you want to build, build. If you want to act, act. If you want to garden, go dig your garden. Don't look for there to be some greater calling that you have to fulfill if it's not obvious to you.
hmm,
Do what you want to do with your life, live your best life, be kind, be generous, be good to other people, be good to yourself.
sure.
That's enough. And she was saying that she feels like she sees so many people who spend so much time obsessing and feeling lost. And I can identify with that because they feel like they have to have some calling, some purpose that is some big picture, be somebody thing. And they never really find it because they're just looking for it all the time, and they're not living their life because they're so worried about what am I supposed to be doing instead of doing things. And she
Mm,
said, just stop thinking about it and just start doing what you want to do. And if there is some greater purpose, it'll come along, it'll show itself. So I thought that was very wise.
yeah,
And it spoke to me personally, because right now I don't have a job.
yeah.
I do my things that I do, and sometimes I
But I
feel
would,
like,
well, especially with you, I mean, you're a mom of two beautiful, well, four beautiful people, but two beautiful people still that are needing you right there, right? And I think sometimes we underestimate the value of simple roles that aren't really that simple, but they're you know what I'm saying? It's like our brother Scott, you know, we might say Scott hasn't worked in years because of health issues and this, that, and the other. But oh my gosh, thank God that he's available to take care of our mom, right? And I think people underestimate the things that they're automatically thrown into being a purpose.
hmm,
And but I love that she said, I always think there is a bigger purpose for each of us, but I think that we underestimate what that is. You
hmm,
know, we underestimate the things we do and not realize that maybe that's our purpose.
yeah, like
I
we think
really
there's
like that.
some more grandiose, bigger deal,
For
naming
sure.
rights,
For sure.
whatever.
Oh, for sure. And you know, I went through a period too where like I think it was like when I first started doing public speaking, it's like, what am I going to talk about? I haven't really had a life. I have
Mm,
no life, you know?
you got a lot of life.
And I mean, of course, that was, you know, 20 years ago, but, and a lot has happened since then. But when I think back even to my younger years, you know, you don't know who you're influencing
Mhm.
and what things you're doing that are making an impact. And they may seem small to you, but they're huge to other people. I know for a fact that you made a huge impact on all your students and people who watched you gracefully navigate a difficult situation with health issues and all the things you've done have learned from you and been inspired by you. This is Tina pumping up her little sister.
Aw.
Because I think you're amazing. I know
I
you're
think you're
amazing.
amazing.
Oh, and we think all of you are amazing.
Yes, all
So
of
we
our
want to know what your
listeners,
favorite
however
Christmas
many
songs are, you amazing people.
we do.
Maybe
Yeah, tell us your
we
amazing
should kind
Christmas.
of take a poll on Facebook and then give the results next week.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
You see if there's common ones.
What are we
I
going to
could,
do
I
to
can, I can
inspire
set that
people
up.
to
I've done
engage?
those before.
We have to come up with a good way to get people to engage because we have terrible engagement
Engage.
sometimes.
Just shout at them.
Maybe we can make threats. We won't do
Engage or
that.
else. Or
Engage, or
engage
we're
or
going
else
to
we'll
talk
keep
about you
making
on our
podcasts.
next podcast. Well, while we're thinking of ways to torture you, make yourself a priority.
Take care of you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to keep up on all the latest sauce. See you next time.